Hey guys, and welcome back to another Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath video commentary. My name is Green Zero, and we are here on the very classic Tournament Rift for another game here today. This game is a little bit old because I had to dig to find some decent replays. So if you got some replays, upload them to the system in Command Post, and they will get a cast talking to all those pros out there. But on the left-hand side, playing as Nod, we have Haruspex. That's right, Haruspex, one of the more active Russians. Is that a shrine? Is that a shrine? 3 engineers. We have a bottom spike taken on the right-hand side, playing as the Nod as well. It's going to be ScoRp.Ua, aka Lino, Lion Cub, whatever. He's still going. And just interesting fun fact, for the longest time, like if we go back like 5, 6, 7 years, I always thought that Lion Cub was like a teenager, but no, it turns out he's in his 40s and he has a kid who's basically a teenager now as well. So he was keeping that very well hidden from everybody. So yeah, he's pretty legit old, up there with Beat Forward and other players that are definitely getting on. But these shadow teams will almost certainly secure. I've already missed them. No, they got into the garrison. Oh no, Lion Cub went for an engineer. That is disastrous. He will win the fight up there, but there's nothing much he can do about that. He bombed the power plant, couldn't stop the war factory, of course, because there is a bit of a delay. He's called these ones in because they have a veterancy. There is a slight delay on the call-in for those units because you've got because obviously it was broken. Like when CGF fixed shadow teams in 1.02 plus, because they were bugged out in a lot of the other versions. When he fixed them, it all of a sudden led to Nod shadow opening every single game. Thank you very much, Jindo. And he just had to put a 5-second delay on the support power because they were just so crippling. Nod was just doing whatever they wanted in any game they liked. So double spike is secured here by Haruspex. Just going to turn the screen so we can get that down. That's a little trick. If you can't, sometimes the screen bottoms out like here, but if you zoom in and twist and then reset, you can actually bottom out much further. It's just one of those camera things. You see me do that quite often in VODs. If you're not really sure why I do that, that's why. It gives you a bit of extra vision. We have a bike and a raider buggy here because he kind of has to. I mean, fourth harvester comes out, so he's actually not doing too bad here. I mean, Nod power plant's obviously much cheaper than the other factions. Well, you know, $200 cheaper than GDI, 100 than Scrin, but it all helps at the start of the game. We have 3 harvesters, so he's a harvester down, Haruspex, but that's because he spent all that stuff on the shadow teams. He is out here now. He's going to have to split up. He might want to run for that garrison. Otherwise, he's going to lose his squad here. He could jump in that garrison and buy quite some time. But no, he's just going to bypass that. I mean, he's just going to die, yeah. If he got in the garrison, at least he would have kept them busy for a very long time while they try to pop that. The other squad will escape. Battle marker over. He does have the other squad here as well that he had. So he went for 3 squads, but unfortunately, this squad's going to get found out as well, so it's really a bit rough here. I mean, you've got to kind of keep your shadow teams alive. To lose them like that, they only got 1 power plant, and I mean, they secured the spikes, which is going to pay dividends the longer the game goes on, but unfortunately, the raider buggy actually left, and did he just sell his MCV? Lion Cub just sold his MCV. I'm just going to call him ScoRp because, you know, that's pretty much the Smurf he likes to play under these days, and for the scoreboard and for what's that word? Continuity. Something similar to that anyway, but you know what I mean. Shadow Team's going to come in. He's going to spot there's no MCV. Probably doesn't know it's an MCV cell yet, but he's going to know there's 2 war factories. Oh, he still has his squad alive. He gets 1 bomb off. Oh, he doesn't quite get it. He got the repair tool down in time. If he got that power plant, he would have put Lion Cub or ScoRp down on low power mode, and then that would have been disastrous because he'd have to power micro or face a delay with the construction of his units here. He's got the squad down here. He knows there's no MCV. He may be aware of this. Yeah, look at that. He sold his own MCV. He's gone for ScoRp tanks. Wow, this is weird. We have a 2 war factory all in from both sides. Unfortunately, these spikes will be destroyed, so there's not much Haru can do about that. By the time he drives to the bottom of the map, I mean, these units will have destroyed both of them, although he hasn't actually gone back to destroy that one. I think the engineer, yeah, he's using his engineer from his MCV to capture the close one, the more easy, well, it's closer to his side of the map, so you can see why he's gone there. Bikes are going to bypass the Scorpion tanks, but I'm assuming he's got some buggy at home to defend. He'll probably be fine if ScoRp doesn't realize those are there. I don't think he knows those guys are up there. He will take a swing down here, but realizes he's not getting in there without a majority of his force. He's got more units over here. The Scorp tanks turn around. Oh my god, he was wide open. He's starting to build some Scorp tanks now, so he's probably aware of them. But he's going to come in. He should be able to get a Harvester kill. He's drawing him at the front, but at the back side, he's being ravaged. Haruspex loses one Harvester. A second Harvester will go down. He's just going to focus that one, I believe. Yes, it will be destroyed. The bikes at the front get obliterated because the tanks came back and just trapped them. But two Harvesters are down. He does have a double war factory, so if he immediately rebuilds those two Harvesters, he should be okay. But as far as the trade goes, Lion Cub did have to trade quite a lot of his bike buggy. There's only a handful left, 2 bikes, 3 buggies, so that's not really very sufficient. Engineer up the top of the map, that is Haru's engineer. Not sure what he's going to do with that. Maybe try to go back down for the spike. There is a militant squad here. Battle Marker's over there. It's just standing on the Tiberium field. He's going to rally up to the top here. Lion Cub doesn't know it's there because he's moving out. He's moving it out front here. He's going to get flanked. And if he focuses everything on one Harvester, he should be able to get a kill. But that Harvester is full of Tiberium. He's got a window in there that he could go in and destroy that. But now Lion Cub is responding somewhat. I mean, he's trading bikes for bikes here. But the Scorp tank is actually not coming back. What is Lion Cub doing? He doesn't have a radar, but he should be aware that he's under attack here. But thankfully, he didn't lose anything. He didn't lose any Harvesters, at least. That could have got dicey. More Scorp tanks at home. No MCV here for Haru. No MCV for Lion Cub. We're going to still see this 2 War Factory all in. And the fields are depleting. Lion Cub's done. Haru's not too far behind. Does have a bit of cheddar here, so that's going to keep him going for a bit longer. I think he's been a bit more cost-effective with his units. Lion Cub has, or Scorp has, he's lost quite a few more. Surprised those Scorpion tanks didn't make any type of maneuver over here in that last engagement. Those units are now gone. He's moving through the middle of the map. He's taking blue Tiberium. This is really key. That's 2 full Harvesters. Do we have any more? No, the others looks like they went and got green tib, but 2 full loads of blue tib. I mean, you can just send all your Harvesters down here and just collect the whole field because it's fully grown at this point. 2 Harvesters got about half of it. You send 4 Harvesters, you should be able to get the lot of it. Not only does it give you a stupendous amount of money, but it also denies the enemy the ability to get that as well. Haru having to settle for green tib, and he's going to get flanked here. He is going to get flanked big time. Here come the bikes, and they'll just destroy these. See you later. Haru is still moving across the map on the radar. He's not turning around. He is reacting up here with the Scorpion tanks, but he lost 2 Harvesters. He has 4 more. He's got 5 more, actually, so he's got a lot of Harvesters. He has got a lot of Harvesters. Meanwhile, he's doing the same thing to Lion Cub. This is just trade for trade right now. Cuts off those 2 Harvesters. Lion Cub did get a ton of money with that blue tib, though. He's coming back. Haru may have to make a getaway. He doesn't have enough forces here to take on what Lion Cub has. Lion Cub's got quite a few here. He's going to try to edge them off here. He should be able to get the buggies at the tail end. Not quite going to turn around. Wow, doesn't lose anything, but those buggies are pretty heavily damaged. That will play a factor if they're not repaired. Lion Cub now just harvesting more Tiberium now from this tib field without any bikes. And look at that, he's going to leave with only half a load. That would have been manually ordered. Maybe he thinks the bikes are going to rock up. He's just playing it safe. It's actually another one coming. So the bikes are actually going back to base somewhat. We can see he's pushing him away. That Harvester, no fear. Now the bikes are coming, so this Harvester is in deep trouble. I think this Harvester is definitely a dead man, and yeah, he's going to be destroyed relatively quickly. Yeah, you can see Haru definitely knows about that. Stops his bikes to finish that off. We have a Scorp v Scorp engagement down here. Oh, he's got a lot of bikes to back this up. The thing about the bikes is that they have very high DPS, but they have very, very low armor. Or basically, they don't have armor at all. They just die if anything hits them, but they have a very high DPS because their rockets obviously do a lot of damage. The Scorpion tanks have a low DPS, but they're a bit more buff. They're obviously buff. They are armor. They're light armor though, so it doesn't take a lot to kill them. But in a situation like this, having armor is beneficial. Battle marker over here. No, it's just standing on the Tiberium field. Haru has secured the blue tib. Still a lot of blue tib there. Could make a move for it with his harvesters, but he is settling for green Tiberium. Now there's a harvester moving to the blue tib field, so he's still got a shadow team. That's interesting. You can actually throw down the artillery beacon, and that gives you vision of an area for several minutes. I'm not sure how long the beacon lasts for. I think it's probably about 2 minutes if I had to guess, but not entirely sure. It will expire eventually, or you can destroy it. But now Lion Cub in a lot of trouble. I think he's got an MCV down the bottom because I can see a base down there, but we're going to focus on this engagement because Lion Cub needs to get here. He's falling back into his base. That harvester in the top right is dead. He's falling back to the war factory. Reinforcements are here. He might want to fight on the other side of the war factory here because he's got buildings as cover. The bikes are engaging, but they will take a tank out, and there's a lot of explosions happening down there, so very fiery engagement. But Haru has decided he's had enough, and he will be backing off. Battle markers over here. He's found more harvesters, undefended harvesters. There's nothing here to defend. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 harvesters here. That harvester, I don't think that harvester may get away. These Scorpion tanks are trying to save it. He will destroy it. So that harvester was destroyed. Meanwhile, Haru is trying to do some damage over here. Oh, another harvester. That's at least 3, possibly 4 harvesters destroyed from Haruspex there. He's going to come in and he's going to find Lion Cubs. Oh, undefended harvesters. Lion Cub did not transition his tanks down the bottom of the map, and Haru's managed to outflank him there. That's lack of positioning from ScoRp there, or Lion Cub. And he's going to come through now, and Haru actually kind of stayed a little bit too long. He's actually getting shredded pretty thoroughly now. Lion Cub is winning the tank war here. He has thinned out the numbers. Look at that, those tanks being left behind up there. He will back out with a handful of tanks, but Lion Cub got a great trade there, except for the fact that he lost quite a few harvesters. But Haru is also bleeding harvesters. 1, 2, 3 harvesters, 4, 5. Wow, he is just producing harvesters like a madman. He is not even worrying about an MCV. He's just continuing to produce more and more harvesters to replace those losses. Lion Cub is now going to engage in the middle of the map here, and it is going to be tank for tank. Lion Cub's got more. Haru's going to have to fall back here. I don't think he should keep fighting. He's realized that now he's got to get out of there. Harvester going for the blue Tiberium field. There's no stealth detection, so he could easily take some crystal. If ScoRp is paying attention, he might notice that the crystals are disappearing. You can actually see the crystals vanishing as they're being harvested. So that's how you can tell if there's a harvester there. If you don't have any stealth detection, second harvester will rock up to the party. So what we can see here happening is that Lion Cub, aka ScoRp, is producing. He's produced an MCV, he's producing more harvesters and refs, and he's trying to produce tanks, whereas Haru's like, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to long range mine. But he's building a lot of harvesters, so he's always got harvesters at his base. He's actually managed to regrow his field here. He could even just start mining that. He's taken quite a big chunk of this away, and I think that Tiberium crystal has either been harvested or destroyed because there was a battle down there at some point. I guess Tiberium crystal does have a health bar. Yes, you can destroy it. It will take splash damage. See, this one here is damaged. You can take splash damage to Tiberium crystals. You can destroy it. We've seen people like Master Leaf do things where he intentionally blows up Tiberium fields to prevent the enemy from obviously harvesting that, because that can really cripple you. You can even use things like Mothership to do that. So it's just a real pain. You can use an Iron Cannon strike. I've done that before where I don't have any units, but I've still got the Iron Cannon, so I just Iron Cannon their field, and then all of a sudden they have no money, so they can't fight me, so it works out okay. Bikes, moving around the top here, Haru needs to do something, because right now we can see that 5 harvesters, 2 ref, he's happily mining here, he's got some tanks out, he's going to do a 2-pronged attack. There is units in the main, that's not going to work. There are units down here. Haruspex is going to go in nonetheless. I think he's going to commit to this fight. Yes, he is going to commit to this fight. So we're going to see a decoy army comes out as well. That draws some fire. That's the whole point of the decoy, is to draw fire. Lion Cub now wasn't really focusing at the start, but he's really losing this fight. Actually, no, not quite. Haru decides he wants to pull back. He's going to back off. Alright, so maybe I misread that one. Reinforcements were coming. Maybe Haru sensed that, or he just didn't like the engagement. As the attacker, you generally need a bit more, at least about 30 to 40% more than what the defender has. Sometimes up to 50% more than the defender, because you're the attacker. The defender has instant reinforcements from their war factories. They have repairs from their war factories. They have base defenses. There's a lot of advantages for a defender. So as an attacker, you need to bring additional units to try to compensate for that. Haru has cleaned up the blue field. He is probably mining like a madman. He's still able to produce these tanks. Bit of a skirmish there. Lion Cub says no. Haruspex says okay, so he's going to back off. Notably, he does hold this spike still, so he's had 2 spike for quite some time. Haru now just realizing, hang on, you know what, I might just get rid of that. So he's going to be able to destroy that spike. That will be dead. He did have an engineer in the top. I can only assume it was destroyed or killed. I don't believe he would have got any structures for that. So 1 spike apiece. Look at Haru. He's mining out this field just by long range mining. I like to see how many harvesters he has. He's got 4 harvesters there. 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 8 harvesters rolling around the map. From what I can see, that's a lot for long range mining. That's why he's able to produce this. But Lion Cub now has the dozer blades. Battle marker over here. He went for a Texan. Is he going for laser capacitors? He's going for laser capacitors. This could be disastrous if he gets that. He needs to stop that harvest from dying. Good pullback there. Good pullback. It's not going to be enough to save it, I don't believe. No, he just loses it before those units go down. Haru is moving across the map with quite a force. Lion Cub needs to hold. Oh my god, I don't think he's going to be able to get that upgrade done. If he doesn't have enough money, this engagement is going to happen now. If Lion Cub should just back off. He should just back off and stall. He needs to stall longer. The longer he can stall, the more he can get these lasers up. He's going to lose too many tanks before he gets the lasers done. Haru has more tanks. He's got more tanks. The destruction is coming down now. Haru is pushing hard. Lion Cub actually has quite a few tanks here, but he's engaging. He doesn't have the laser capacitors. His numbers are thinning now. His numbers are thinning quite a bit. Haru may come out ahead if lasers finishes here. It's going to be too late for Lion Cub, I think. Is he actually going to come through? He's got reinforcements here. We have some upgraded tanks. There's an elite tank here. It's going to be tight. It's going to be mutual destruction here, I believe. It will be mutual. Oh, there's the laser capacitors. That's done. I think he's got just enough tanks left to push through and win this fight. It's going to be tight. We'll zoom back out. There's only a couple of tanks left, and I think they are throwing everything at this fight right now. If I was Lion Cub, I would pull back to the war factory where you have your reinforcements and your repairs, but he's going to fight these out here. He's focusing these tanks down now. Remember, with lasers, it's better to shoot and move, whereas with cannons, it's better to stop, like what Haru is doing. So Lion Cub needs to realize he needs to move, keep the tanks at the back out of range. I think he should be okay. I mean, he's probably going to lose this fight, but again, Haru has really no staying power here now, so wow, that was basically mutual destruction. But for Lion Cub, the biggest key was he should have just kept backing up until he got his lasers. He was so close. I mean, he would have had to engage without them anyway, but at least it would have been only for maybe about 5 seconds, whereas there he engaged for like 20 seconds without lasers, and that has hurt him. He's actually moved his MCV to the middle of the map here now. He's shooting at the MCV, which is drawing fire, which is going to allow these tanks to really shoot. He should shoot and back up. He doesn't want to allow Haru to use his numbers at the back to move forward. He needs to keep falling back the way he is, because shooting on the run is going to be hugely advantageous for the laser capacitors here. He's going to fall back to his base now, but you know what? I think he's going to, he's forced to sell the MCV. He realizes he cannot save it, and he might as well get his money's worth out of it. Haru just continuing to keep that field dry. Now, Haru has cleaned up the entire field purely by leeching it, and he still hasn't started reharvest. He's now starting to reharvest this. He's like, hang on a second, what am I doing? He's let this field grow back at least 60% of its normal size, and that's just going to fuel him for this next part of the game. He's got so much tib here. Lion Cub has access to no Tiberium. He's got some bikes out, which is great. He needed these. I mean, he was doing this in the first half of the game, but he's slowed down and stopped, but he's going to do it again because he could have cut off Haru's economy here, or at least force him to keep some units back, and now he's going to find them, but I mean, the field is gone. He's going to be looking at this, he's going to be like, oh my god, he actually harvested everything here without even building a base, and he's going to get those 2 harvests, and he's going to leave. Lasers also on the Scorpions, which is nice. There's quite a number of tanks here. Oh, does Lion Cub have the ability to repel this? He's got 4. Oh, he's got plenty of tanks up here. He needs to make sure his tanks are together. Some of those tanks are going around. That's really bad. They could get cut off. Depends how this goes. Where did the bikes go? The bikes are now through here, and they will be defending the leeching harvesters. We can see that Haru was trying to stab him in the back. Another battle happening down the bottom. I don't think they're fully engaged there. Lion Cub will be able to defend that, but they are going to engage over here now. He's got laser capacitors. I think this is going to be too much of Haru. There's too many tanks here. He's in too bad a position now, and Lion Cub will be able to destroy, pops a lot of those tanks on the way out. That's what you want to see. He will be forced to retreat in the middle. More tanks coming through. He did take a bit of Tiberium. You got to remember, Lion Cub is really pushing it for reinforcements. He does not have the ability to refine in a safe manner, whereas Haru, because his main field has regrown so much, he's got 4 harvesters on that. He's pumping these 2 war factories, and he's going to keep pumping them. And if I was Lion Cub, I would just be selling. I think he's sold everything he possibly can while still saying operational. Yeah, he literally can't sell anything else. He's got just enough power to keep him going, I believe. And he doesn't have an MCV. I think he's going to try to long-range mine as well. Now, he does have dozers and he does have lasers. So something to note, of course, Haru never got dozers because, of course, he's been all in this whole game. This is ridiculous to see a game go this long where someone has stayed all in. He's splitting his tanks up. This could be an issue. A Lion Cub should be able to destroy these tanks out in the open here. They're actually going to come back and flank him, though. But you know what? He's got a lot of tanks. He's going to be able to pick off these guys. This is good here. He's actually chasing them. I'm not sure where he's going. Oh, he's kind of surrounded here as well. But again, the power of the laser capacitors just obliterating these tanks so fast. He needs to... if I was Lion Cub, I would deal with this army right now. He's going to deal with the army here. And he's going to be able to pop this. This is just such an uphill battle for Haru now, because I mean he's up against such upgraded tanks. He needs to reverse move so the rear armor isn't being exposed from for Haru's tanks there. Doesn't actually reverse moves now. It's a little bit late for that, so taking some unnecessary damage. But you know what? Haru is just continuing to throw tanks at Lion Cub here, and Lion Cub is like, all right, we got to back off. He is stalled for cash. He does have plenty of reinforcements at home. How's his tank? Oh, there's an elite tank there, and there's a lot in the red. He definitely wants to get some repairs on those, which is why he's pulling back to his base. It's just, I mean, repairs in the game are free. It's free to repair units, and it's just going to put them back to full. He's going to get that tank there. If this tank goes heroic, then Haru has no chance of winning this game now. He'll have no chance of winning. I mean, his chances of winning are slim. He's cleaned up the green field, and he just expended all of his tanks on the laser tanks. Look at all the debris and the battle marks. And Lion Cub knows. He knows he's going down there. He might want to try to snipe the ref, because it's the only ref down here. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that, because Lion Cub is going to want to have a piece of that. Battle marker over here as well. It's just infantry, so we'll keep an eye on this. And I think he's just going to see so many tanks running through here. Please tell me that wasn't the elite tank. No, the elite tank is at full health, so... Oh man, because if that goes heroic with the laser capacitor, it gets a blue beam and it will just two-shot I believe it'll two-shot these tanks. One shot will almost kill it by itself. And of course, we've got to remember, not only does it do double damage, it shoots twice as fast, so it'll have double the rate of fire. Haru is going to cut off these harvesters. Oh man, Scorp doesn't have anything to deal with that. He's going to lose his harvesters, so he is still... Haru is not going to let this one go. He's going to keep trying to harass, and you know those harvesters are dead. There's nothing back at home. Does he have any harvest? He's got one harvester left, and this is the thing. Lion Cub is bled dry. He needs to send some of the tanks down here, because the bikes are just going to drive. Oh no, they're going to drive back up there. They could have just driven all the way around, sniped out the last harvester, and then it would have been good night. I mean, the problem is here is that, of course, he's long range mining. This field is dry. This field is dry. There is some blue tib, which he is taking. If he gets the blue tib, he'll be able to swell a tank. He said, oh, look at this. This is the thing. Lion Cub doesn't have the ability to reinforce. There's going to be a final engagement here. Does he have enough tanks to defeat this? This is going to be the final engagement here. He's going to try to fight these guys. There is a lot of tanks here, and he's already backing up. Oh, he's just losing tanks at the front as well. It's not a very good engage here from Lion Cub. Now he's got a better position around this type. Oh, he got a heroic. That could be the game. That could be the game right there. He's just got a heroic Scorpion tank. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything about this. He does have some bikes back here, but they have to destroy every single building. There's actually 2 tanks here as well, and these 2 tanks should be more than sufficient to destroy what he's got here. Yeah, he's just going to try to focus them down real quick, but I mean, there's not going to be... There's repairs coming down as well, almost unintentionally on that tank. It will actually go back. He's going to have to back off, but yeah, I mean, Lion Cub should go in right now. He's got a heroic Scorpion tank. I mean, all Haru is doing is just pumping out tanks like there's no tomorrow. He's just allowing him to build more tanks right now. He needs to get that heroic Scorpion tank in there. It's going to be able to do work. It's going to be able to do some serious work here. He needs to back up now. He needs to reverse move away from this army. No, these guys here need to come forward a bit here. He doesn't want to reverse move at the same time. And look at that heroic Scorpion tank just putting the pain down on these units here. He needs to make sure that doesn't die. Haru, there's really nothing to do about that. There's no point even trying to focus it, because he needs to destroy the tanks that he can actually destroy, which is what he's doing. And Lion Cub is sitting in a line, which is what the cannon type tanks want. You want to shoot and move if you have lasers, but it's going to be too much. That heroic tank, I mean, Haru has the numbers, but the heroic tank is just obliterating him now. It's just eating these tanks for breakfast, and Lion Cub, I think he's at the war factories. If he loses a war factory, I mean, this is really the writing is on the wall. He does have that tank. It's at full health. It's just self-repairing so fast, and he's just popping tank after tank after tank after tank. Oh, he needs to watch out. He's taking some gunfire. Those rockets from the bikes do almost nothing to that heroic Scorpion tank. It looks like it does take about 3 shots, to kill one of these tanks. That tank has some veterancy on it, but you know what? If you're Lion Cub, what are you doing? Like, keep attacking. You've got a heroic unit. I mean, the heroic unit will self-repair, and you can just destroy everything, essentially. Haru has now just been given more time. He doesn't have any... He's got one harvester. He's got 2 tanks. I mean, he could even just sell one of his war factories right now. He needs to do something. He hasn't been doing anything with his harvester. It's been harvesting itty-bitty bits of tib, and he's actually trying to produce another harvester here now. But you know what? He needs to go in. Where did he send his tanks? He's got 2 tanks up here. Where has he sent his... He's retreating... Oh man, I mean, if Lion Cub is watching this game back, you know, he knows he's on one base. He knows he's leeching. He had him pushed all the way back to the war factories. He could have sat there because that heroic tank, he doesn't have enough units to kill the heroic tank. The heroic tank could just reverse move and destroy them all and self-heal. I mean, I know he doesn't want to lose it, but he was right here. He could see there wasn't many units left, and the heroic unit would be perfectly safe. It's going to return that one there for some repairs. I'm not sure where the heroic tank is. It's somewhere on the field, these 2 tanks. He's got 2 harvesters here. He's got a 3rd harvester there. Raider buggy, I think, for... Not sure what that Raider buggy is there for. Might have been left over from something else. Tanks are coming in. I'm not sure where the heroic tank is. The heroic tank is down here, but you know what? Haru has found this base, and this is where his Tiberium is. And he's shooting at multiple different units, which is never a good idea. He's trying to camp this area, but he can't see the enemy harvesters that are there. The bikes are coming around. The heroic tank is now completely neutralized because it's not where it needs to be. He's selling off this whole base. He can't afford to maintain that base anymore. He's going to have to sell that power plant. He does have an upgrade on this one, which is really good, by the way. And he's just getting... His harvester down here is getting attacked. Haru is just everywhere now. He's just pulling him apart bit by bit. This has got blue tib in it, so he really needs that, by the way. So he's going to have that. But again, these tanks sitting here, I mean, yeah, they can protect his harvesters, but they can't stop the enemy harvesters. And Haru is just swelling once again. He's swelling in size. I mean, you got to remember, Lion Cub obviously doesn't know what we know. But in that attack where he can see the damage on the war factory, he had pushed right here, and he could see there was only a handful of units left. With a heroic tank, you can just sit there and shoot and reverse move and shoot and reverse, and you'll just destroy everything gradually over time. And that heroic tank is coming in here. He needs to be careful. It's actually drawing a lot of fire. He's going to focus it down, and that's going to be the game. That's the game right there. He just destroyed it. Lion Cub, I can't stress this enough, Lion Cub permitted that. He allowed that to happen. He had him on the ropes, and he should have gone in and killed him. I mean, Haru, the leeching was insane. 27.5 minutes that he was on all in one base, and the fact that he was able to refine. I mean, Lion Cub did do a good job of trying to cut off the harvesters for the first half of the game, but in the last half of the game, it was non-existent. It was virtually non-existent, and because he stopped doing that, Haru was able to just amass units after units after units. 176,000, 150,000. He got more money. He got 26 grand more than Lion Cub. Kill death ratio 0.89 to 1.07, so not as great as you would think for ScoRp. Again, when you've got lasers, you want to shoot and move because they have a lower rate of fire, but they have way more damage. Whereas with cannon tanks, you want a formation to get all the tanks in range. Lion Cub would often fight them in that style instead of shooting and pulling back and shooting and pulling back. So yeah, unfortunately, but yeah. This could have gone either way. Lion Cub could have had it with the legendary tank that he had there. The heroic tank was enough to give him the win, but unfortunately just didn't have the guts to go in and finish the job. Look at that, very even all the way. We can see most of the time Lion Cub actually had more units, but Haru there. If I look at the resources, yeah, pretty much so and so. But that was a really good game. Can't believe I missed that one. This replay is quite a bit old now. But anyway, if you've got some replays, put them on the system. My name is Green Zero. I'll catch you all in the next video.